Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Good morning, I'm Bullhorn Betty. This is Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories, and our daily discussion is related to Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerrera, and their unborn baby Fabian. Savanah Soto is an 18-year-old pregnant mom-to-be and was getting ready to welcome her son, baby Fabian, into the world right before she disappeared. Her family went to meet her at the hospital to be induced, and she never showed up. This worried her family so much so that they went to the San Antonio police to file a police report on December 23rd. However, the San Antonio Police Department said they needed to file the missing persons report in Leon Valley. So that's what the family did. In the meantime, they were calling frantically to Matthew's phone, which is her boyfriend, as well as his family, because they thought there was something going on between Savanah and Matthew at the moment. And then they learned that that wasn't the case. Matthew's family couldn't get a hold of him, and so both families were very, very concerned, and Matthew's family ultimately filed a missing person report on him as well. Then we fast forward to December 26th. This is the day that Matthew and Savanah were found deceased in their car. Many people were speculating on who could possibly or potentially be responsible for this crime, because Matthew and Savanah were both well known in the area. They were both well-known drug dealers in the area, and this played a role in this case. Well, since then, video came out that surfaced showing a heavy-set Hispanic male stepping out of a a Chevy Silverado and helping what appeared to be a younger female in the victim's car. However, we learned after the arrest that Christopher was the female, the younger female that we saw in the video, because he was a 19-year-old boy with long hair and from the angle looked like a female. However, law enforcement did locate them and they charged Christopher Preciado, which is 19, with the actual capital murder of both Matthew Guerrera and Savanah Soto. They charged his father, Ramon Preciado, with tampering with evidence and concealing bodies and other charges related to the moving of the body. And then his stepmother, Murdaugh Ramos, was the third arrest in this case, and she is presumed to be the one that tossed the towel to Ramon in that video. For today's topic, we're going to be going over where Savanah Soto. Hello, my beautiful coffee beans. I'm Bullhorn Betty. This is Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories, and we're going to be discussing the newest update in the Bryan Kohberger case. Bryan Kohberger was arrested on December 30th, 2022. Bryan Kohberger was brought back to Moscow, Idaho on January 4th, 2023. The Moscow University of Idaho victims were killed in their off-campus housing on the outskirts of the University of Idaho on November 13th, 2022, around 4 to 4:25. It's actually alleged that in less than 9 minutes, all 4 of these students were murdered. Now that we fast forward to after the revelations of the affidavit of probable cause, which was a jaw-dropper. It indicated that Dylan Mortensen was an actual witness and victim of this crime. She actually saw a man about 5'10", 185 pounds, not muscular, but athletically built, and he was covered in a mask and dark clothing, and he was exiting the kitchen sliding glass door. It concerned her, but that was the first time the community knew that there was a witness, and that witness was Dylan Mortensen. Then came this horrible crusade against Dylan Mortensen because people couldn't understand why it took 8 hours for her to call 911. However, we're not going to be discussing that in today's segment. Today's segment is related to the court proceedings going on with Bryan Kohberger. Ann C. Taylor, Bryan's attorney, and Bill Thompson, the prosecutor for the state of Idaho, have been working tirelessly to make sure that the public is out of this case until trial. There's been a litany of documents under seal in this matter. So, with them pushing the public out and pushing everybody out, including the family, today's segment is on Ann C. Taylor's newest request. It is a jaw-dropper, I gotta tell ya. You're gonna wanna stick around for this. I am Bullhorn Betty, and this is Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. I hope you enjoy this segment and thought-provoking conversation related to Bryan C. Kohberger and Ann C. Taylor, his attorney, and their newest request. God bless each and every one of you, and until next time, please be safe and kind to one another. If you enjoyed this and you would like to help me or this channel, please consider making a donation or consider being a member with a monthly membership. Let's rock it out with our coffee beans out.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
people of YouTube and X. It's nice to see you. I hope everybody is having a great day today. Happy Thursday. I'm hoping that everybody's rocking it out. I'm struggling this morning. I got to tell you, it's one of those days where you're trying to get everything together. It's like one thing after another. But hey, you know what? We got coffee, right? We got coffee. That's the most important task of the coffee club. Bullhorn Betty has to have caffeine. We need caffeine. Give me caffeine. It's nice to see everybody here this morning. Our beautiful sweet misery, the first in the house to say good morning to Bullhorn Betty in chat. Good morning, my love. It's nice to see you. If you have not had an opportunity, please go and check her channel out. She's been doing some great things and been having some amazing interviews. So go over there and check her out. Good morning, Jules, Southern Grammy Wolf, Gigi for Life. It is nice to see you this morning. Good morning, Elfig. It's nice to have you. Good morning. Look at that. I got to throw you up there. Good morning, love. Nani's up in the house. Good morning, Billy. It's nice to see you here. Hindsight's 2020. Ashley's World, Devil Doll. It's nice to see you, love. TL, Rebecca. It's nice to see you. Our beautiful paralegal Liz that I'm going to meet. Yay! Let me get it. Oh, I got to sneeze. I feel a sneeze coming on. Hold on. Let's see if I can turn this off before I sneeze. That or not, but you shouldn't have been able to hear that. I turned the mic volume off, but I won't know until I see the replay. Hopefully you guys can hear all this. Good morning, November Rain. It's nice to see you this morning. We got a dealer up in the house. Our dealer ain't a substance dealer, not an alcohol dealer, not a drug dealer, but what? We got hugs. We got hugs coming from the right, hugs coming from the left, hugs coming from up above, down under. It's splashing up from under our chin. We got hug dealer up in the house. Nice to see you. Hey. That's Chica. Oh, it's nice to see you over here. Good morning, love. It's nice to have you. Mary Kincaid. It's nice to see you this morning. We got beautiful Manic Mama T in the house. Angie, good morning. Akita Lover. Well, good morning there, love. I hope you're doing well this morning. It's nice to see you. We got our beautiful B Betty fan up in the house. Good morning, love. Samantha, it's nice to see you here. I made my first cup of coffee. Good morning, y'all. Well, good morning. That's the first step in our morning. Second step is Bullhorn Betty. Cookie Monster up in the house. Nice to see you. Nice to see you all. Who else am I missing in here? I think we got you all. So it's nice to have you guys this morning. We're going to be going over a few things. There's a couple things that I did want to go over. So the first thing is obviously Savanah Soto's funeral. You know, she finally was able to oh, nice to see you, Bayou Babe. She was finally able to be laid to rest. Her and baby Fabian, you know, with the weather and whatever other things that were going on, just made it very difficult. And you could tell that the family is obviously struggling. You know, this is their baby girl. She was about to give birth to their grandchild, right? And both of them literally hours, 24 hours before they were going to be meeting their grandson and for Rachel, great grandson. And they were both wiped off the face of the earth. It's got to be very difficult, those memories, for all the women in the chat, that have older children that now have children, you guys know that. You guys understand that, that wonderful feeling in your gut, just waiting and hoping and, to see that little baby face and hear that little scream and, know that your grandchild or your child has, all 10 fingers, all 10 toes. It's just an amazing process. It's a beautiful part. It's the most beautiful part of life, in my opinion. I think everything kind of goes downhill from there, but it's the most beautiful part of life. And we honor that and we celebrate it. The birth of a child, the birth of our new family member, the birth of our future, our legacy, it's just a lot. And so I understand how extremely hard this has to be for the family. but she finally was able to be laid to rest. And we're going to just look at some photos of it. We've only got a few. And then also on the Facebook group, I'm noticing that it appears somebody's over at the Preciado home loading up some stuff. It looks like the big pickup truck, the red Silverado that was parked in front of the car that was, hit with vandalism that said baby killer on it and stuff like that. It was written all down the side of the car. It was just, it sat out like a sore thumb. And I've got to say, I don't believe in breaking the law, even for a cause. That's vandalism. I don't know, I don't get it, but I digress. Either way, it appears that they're in there. And, we were listening to a few creators. One of them was a young lady by the name of Jessica from Canada. And she's been doing some research on this. She's not, there's a few things. She's been putting a lot of information out there. I have been reviewing some of it. It's been great research, but some of the things that she thinks it means, it doesn't. Which she even says on her live, this is her understanding, which that's the way it is. It's when we were on here, it's our understanding of what we're reading and stuff. Some people have a little bit better understanding and more education in a particular area than others. One of the, processes that I'm lacking, right, is law enforcement. That's why I always look at like Chris McDonough, Duty Ron, police off the cuff, to get that perspective. But it makes me wonder, because there was some stuff that was brought up through all this research, and it was predominantly related to Murdagh's, mom and dad, them passing away, and the being the executor of the will and the passing of the assets and things of that nature. Could this be something where Murdagh's family is like, okay, she's in jail, let's move in. We're going to take over the house. She was able to move in and take custody of the house, but now that she's in jail, the other part of the family can go ahead and move in and take ownership of that home. Is that a situation like that that's going on there? I don't know, because I thought it was awfully suspect that the car that has the defaming language written down the side of the car, the whole driver's side car that says, baby, Killer, just in red paint. And that car is still there, but the truck is not. And it looks like it was almost towed or driven around the car, because the car is still in the same spot, but the truck that was sitting directly in front of the car is gone. And I would have to equate, the dark truck being Ramon's, the red one being Murdagh's, and the car that had all the defaming language down it is Christopher's. So there's the three vehicles, there's the three people, and now we only have one vehicle sitting in front of that house. And it's not that house that I learned that he owned. It's another house that they Murdaugh has. So it seems like even that house, even like the whole thought of the family moving in, I don't know if that's the case, because from my understanding, that's not even the house that has been the subject of that probate situation or whatever, the will situation that they had. The house that they're living in is not the one that was seized by Murdaugh, I guess is what we could say. I don't know if it was seized, but handed down through the disbursement of the will and what have you. So I don't know what's going on over there. Oops, I just got a suddenly expected. There we go. Get this back up. Let me go ahead and put this on here for you guys to see, because it's going to start giving me problems. The longer I wait, the longer it takes. So this is basically the funeral photos. You're going to have to give it a second. I've got some, I'm not sure why I'm getting so many lagging issues, but I have been for the last few days. Justice for Savanah. And they spell her name with 2 N's on the back of that shirt. And, we were told it was 1 N, just a little food for thought. Savanah. She had a pink casket. That is so hard. I wish I could get this bigger, but they won't let me do anything bigger. It's like a powder pink casket. They should not be having to do this. They just should not be having to do this. So that's really all the that we do have on Savanah Soto, just the beauty that she was finally able to be put to rest. And I pray that she and her son, baby Fabian, can rest in peace. And that's really all we can hope for. What a horrible, horrible story this was. There's no, in all the stories that we pretty much cover here on this channel, there really is no winners. There'll never be a winner. Even when justice is sought and sentences are handed down, whether it be DP or life or anywhere between 10 to 25, it no matter how you look at it, it will never be justice. Even if that person takes their last breath, the person that committed the most depraved crime that you can think of to your loved one, even if they took it never gives you a sense of gratitude or a sense of purpose or a sense of relief. It never gives you that. It never gives you quite what you think it should give you. It's still very painful. It's still something you have to live with on a daily basis, and there's no getting out of it. And this is what the family is going to be subjected to. And this is on the heels of just a year ago, her brother being senselessly gunned down as well. So the family has been plagued with gun violence. And I really do hope, I don't want to see the Soto family have to suffer anymore. And I hope it's kind of bad, when you have a place that you call home. It's like me here, there's been so many over the last, I've been here in this same town my entire life. Like I was born in the local hospital, there's been so many times that I myself said, or looked into things to run away, even reaching out to like Georgia and stuff like that, just to have a different change of scenery without being too far away from home. I can't even, since I've been on here, there's been times I've talked about it to my mods. I just want to run away. I just want to run away. So I do hope that they do not have to lose another family member if that area that they're living in is too violent for them, too violent for their family. I really do hope that they start getting an exit strategy on leaving the area or moving into a safer location where they're not going to have to deal with a lot, that gun violence that they're dealing with. It's expensive. It's all expensive as anybody can imagine, but look at the cost they've already paid. Look at the heavy cost the Soto family has already paid. In my opinion, if I lost that much, I don't know if I could, stay there anymore. I personally, but each person has to make that decision for themselves. They have to live with wherever they have to go. So it's just a sad situation. But I digress. Let's keep moving on because I am crunched for time today, and we're already almost at 7 a.m. and I've got to be off here about 8:15. So we only have about another hour potentially to be together. So let's just go ahead and we're going to be ending. We're going to continue our conversation with Summer Wells, and then we're going to get into a small little segment on Alec Murdaugh. I may go ahead and do the quick segment on Alec Murdaugh so we can just devote the rest of the time to Summer Wells, and that's kind of going to be the our itinerary for this show for this morning. Bryan Kohberger, we know. I thought this was interesting because this he's going to have 2 court dates. Let me get the spanner off. If you guys haven't, if you can do me a favor, if you haven't already done so, please go out there and like this video. We have about 125 people in the chat. If you could do me that solid, I greatly appreciate it. This is where Bryan Kohberger is, accused. We already know he's accused of this quadruple homicide. He's been in and out of court for over a year to determine, when the trial is going to be, and also his rights during this whole entire process. It's been fairly miserable for the public as well as the family because nobody is really letting the public in. This entire process has been horrible when it comes to the family and the public and finding out information. We've been hit with sealed records. We've been hit with basically a non-dissemination order from the courts. This has been going on since out the gate. We've literally know nothing. And they've pushed us so far out. Now it's like becoming a problem because Ann C. Taylor would like nothing more than to try to defend this man, Bryan Kohberger, her client. And the issue is that, you know, there's a lot of people that already have their line drawn in the sand. You're either for Bryan Kohberger or you believe he's guilty. You either believe he's innocent or guilty at this point. I don't think there's a whole lot of people on the fence with their thoughts of his innocence or guilt. But the issue is now that they pushed us out, Nancy Taylor needs public sympathy. She's lacking in the public sympathy department, and nobody's really paying attention. And she's trying to fight this battle of trying to get his indictment thrown out, his grand jury indictment thrown out for, in my opinion, very weak arguments. But either way, a weak argument can still be a successful argument. I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. But now she's having issues because she's not getting her way in the court, and she needs that public sympathy for the doubt part of it. Nobody knows why she's really arguing this to squash or, you know, end, or I can't remember the act, dismiss the current indictment on behalf of her client. It's just, we haven't heard anything about the case. So we haven't heard why they feel. We haven't heard what we've heard it a little bit, but not in detail. We believe that basically what her argument stated as we read it is that she believes the instructions from the court were inappropriate and not proper for the jury, the grand jury that indicted Bryan Kohberger. And she wants that thrown out and have them start over again. And the judge she's already come before this court. He's already denied this request. And now she's going again to say, hey, can you please look at this one last time? But this time we want the public in. So she wants the public to be able to hear why she's challenging this, because to be honest with you, we've been pushed out so far. Nobody knows what's really going on in this case. And they're doing it intentionally for it to lose its notoriety, for it to lose its publicity, because they have a trial and they're trying to get an impartial jury. And because of the freedoms of press, they can't control what the press says or where the press posts their information. And therefore, it does sometimes complicate. But we have provisions in the law that help that. That's why we have change of venue, a prime example of what is built into the law to help protect from this publicity, especially in high-profile cases, which this is absolutely, without a doubt, meets the definition of a high-profile case. And it's very newsworthy, noteworthy, and a lot of eyes are on this case. But now Nancy Taylor wants the public back in because she's not getting the leverage she needs with the attorney, or with the judge, rather. Judge John C. Judge, a fitting name, as many people have stated. So I just wanted to read this article to you guys real quick, and then we'll move on to, where are we after this? Then we'll touch base on Alec Murdaugh real quick. So the man accused of the tragic murder of the 4 University of Idaho students is set to face a double court date. So his first court date is at, I think 11 a.m. And this is all tomorrow. This is why I'm bringing it up today, because tomorrow afternoon, he's going to have a hearing. The first hearing is not going to be publicized. It's going to be behind closed doors. The public nor the media are allowed in. Another one of these types of hearings. I'm so sick of them. I've never seen a public trial of an individual accused of such a heinous act being so hush-hush and quiet. It makes the public, when we have this type of situation, it makes the public feel like the law is hiding something from us, because our prosecutor is beholden to the people. Our judge is beholden to the people. The only person that's not beholden to the people is the defense. They're beholden to their client. Now, the judge is beholden to the process as well, right? He's got to balance the process. He has a very hard time balancing it. I think he's fully unbalanced. I think he's put so much onus into the fair trial that he's violating other people's rights. And that I don't like. There's many judges that have had to deal with high profile cases that do not deal with it like this. They just don't. They're open. They know which stuff, but see, what I don't like about this is they lied. The prosecution lied. The judge allowed them to lie as well. And I'm going to say it just like that because it is a lie. This prosecutor has lied, and the defense attorney has lied, and the judge has allowed it. And what am I talking about? They said that it was a public, what do they say? A public threat. A public threat. They're using stuff that needs to be legally challenged, knowing that nobody's going to legally challenge it because it costs money to legally challenge something. That's why. And the bottom line is this is no threat to the public. This information coming out is not threatening to the public. Now, if it's threatening to one of the witnesses, there's things called protective orders, right? So this protective order is to protect those people. But they lied to the courts. We all knew that this was not a threat to the public safety, but that's what they argued, and the judge allowed them. I lose a lot of faith with trickery in the courts. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm a law and order person. I don't like dirty tricks. Everybody handles themselves appropriately and professionally. That was not the case here. We've been blocked out. And I think I'm fairly blocked out. And I think it is a violation of law, the way it's been handled, if you really want to know my truth. Does that make it so? No. But I damn sure can say I can argue something like this. I feel prejudiced. I feel violated by Idaho. I do. Over this case. I'm sure a lot of other news media outlets feel the same way because we're all scratching our heads saying, what gives here? And of all the people that come before the courts, it's Ann C. Taylor now asking for us to come in. Well, thank you, Ann C. Taylor. I mean, I do appreciate it. I mean, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth if they're going to let us in. But why is it taking the defense attorney? We should have been in a privy of a lot of documents that they withheld from us. A lot of documents that would not have hurt this case. A lot of documents that would not have been, as they call, a threat to public safety. You know, it's garbage. It's hogwash. Here, you want to know how I feel about it?
Warning, bullshit alert.
That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. And I have not been quiet about my avocation of how I feel this is wrong for the people, for the public. We are the taxpayers. We have a right to know whether this guy is the rightful person. We should not have to wait to trial to get some of these documents that, under the law, we're told are our right to see and have. That the judge at his discretion is now blocking us out of. So tomorrow, we're going to do a live. I don't think the live in the morning is going to be really long unless we have conversations. I've got a deadline tomorrow, so I'm hoping that my deadline will be finished up tonight. But I'll probably do one more proofread before a final submission. So if worst case scenario happens, we're going to have a later live tomorrow. That's the worst case scenario. We're not going to have a live starting here. I know you guys wake up. Some of you guys wake up just to watch the show, and I appreciate that. And God bless you for doing that. I mean, you have no idea. That's a real fan. That's a real coffee bean right there, right? But you're just going to have to we're going to have to play it by ear tomorrow. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Because tomorrow around 3:00 our time, Eastern Standard Time rather, is going to be when Bryan Kohberger's hearing. I think it's 3. It's 3 or 4. I can't remember if they're 2 or 3 hours behind us. I'll have to check it. But I'm pretty sure it's 3. If I remember correctly, I remember that's one of the reasons why I was so damn cranky when I was in Idaho. I lost 3 hours of my life, right? It's like you jump on a plane, you're already losing 8 to 10 hours of your life just getting there. And then when you get there, you're minus 3 hours to boot. Like, no sleep, right? No sleep. So I think it's 3 hours. And if that's the case, the second hearing tomorrow is at 3 p.m. and, or excuse me, 4 p.m. because it starts at 1. One's at 11, one's at 1 p.m. tomorrow, but the one at the 1 p.m. is the one we're going to get in. So it says right here at 11 a.m. Pacific. So they're 3 hours behind. So that would be 11 a.m. would be 12, 1, 2. So that would be at 2 our time, East Coast time. Am I right about that? Yes. I watch you at 3:35. Okay. So it is 3 hours. Okay. That's what I thought. So we're on California time. That's the best way I can do it, right? Everybody knows California time, right? So at 11 a.m. tomorrow, they're going to have this hearing that's not going to be public. This is a hearing related to the motion to dismiss the indictment based on claims of bias. The jury in the proceeding as admissible evidence lacks sufficient evidence and prosecutorial misconduct is what is being alleged for this motion to be, to toss the indictment, motion to dismiss the indictment. And then at 1 p.m., an open hearing will be addressing the order denying the motion to dismiss the indictment due to inaccurate instructions given to the jury. The public will have access to this session. And I don't know if they will be talking about, if they're going to be talking about opening this up to the public. That actually might be at the private hearing where we're not going to be a privy to. So they may actually be challenging that at that point. But if they're going to be running this hearing, the one in the afternoon that's open to the public, if that's going to be publicly publicized, which I believe 100% it's going to be publicized. Every place under the sun is chomping at the bit to get more information about Bryan Kohberger, new information, relevant information, something that's newsworthy that can update their audience. So everybody's eyes are going to be on Idaho and Bryan Kohberger tomorrow afternoon. We're going to run it live here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, Crime Stories, Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories channel. And so be here for that. And again, you're going to want to set and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories channel, or you can do Betty, BETTIETC, but nobody, that's going to be a channel. It's going to be a political channel. We're just trying to get some watch time up on that particular channel. If you want to help out with that, please do. If you don't want to, that's fine as well. It's not going to be a crime channel anyway. So if you don't want to support it, that's perfectly fine as well. A gag order in the case restricts the discussions from prosecutors, defense, and law enforcement officials, preventing them from communicating on the ongoing legal proceedings as well. So again, I'm not too happy with the Bryan Kohberger ruling so far. I know that I have been kicking up a fuss since literally day one. From even before this, the young lady, the circuit court or whatever lady, Megan Marshall, is that a Judge Megan Marshall, I think is her name? She got under my skin first, and then it was Judge John C. Judge. And then I realized that he was actually the dictator of all this, even with Megan Marshall, Judge Megan Marshall, because she was conferring with him, because she knew he was going to be the one that ended up getting this file as it proceeded to court. So she wanted to make sure she was respectful of how the judge would be ruling in this case. And I believe he kind of guided her to some of those earlier rulings. So while I was upset with Judge Megan Marshall, it was still really Judge John C. Judge that I was really upset with. And I just did not know it yet. So that's where the start of all of our problems are, And I got to remember, this judge has got a hard job all by himself. And these judges, they're graded. They're graded. How many rulings are appealed? How many rulings are not overturned? Like a judge wants to make sure that their rulings are not overturned by an appellate court or another higher court. It's kind of a slap in the face, because a lot of these judges pride themselves of being entrenched and very knowledgeable in law. And so they never want to make an inappropriate ruling. I don't believe a judge is there, has committed his or her life to the law, so much so that they are now a judge, just to intentionally try to harm or not rule properly in a matter, because at the end of the day they don't really have, that's what makes judges so great, they don't really have a dog in the fight, right? They're an unbiased person, and they pride themselves of being unbiased and being able to, manage and balance everybody's rights to come out with a resolution that everybody can live with. And that's really what it is. And it's the same process whether it's criminal or civil. It's just there's more, complications in criminal cases because people can lose their freedoms and lose their ability to move freely in this country. And that's the most that's really the differences. But no matter what, either way, whether they're in a civil case or a criminal case, the judge is there to balance the rights, to make sure that, even the prosecutors aren't inappropriately applying the law, right? So that's it. Before we get started, you guys know I'm going to give you guys we're going to go into Alec Murdaugh, because I like, I've spent some time on these videos. They're going to keep making the rounds on social media, because they're work. I work it, right? I work it.
The legacy of the Murdaughs stretch very far in South Carolina. Behind these gates lie deadly secrets. Secrets only Alec Murdaugh himself know. On June 7th, 2021, Alec Murdaugh hatched a deadly secret, plotting against his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. But what brought us to this point starts with Mallory Beach. Mallory Beach was killed in a boating accident by Paul Murdaugh, Alec Murdaugh's son, and it was going to trial, and Alec was about to pony up financial records. Those financial records were going to uncover a financial scheme hatched by none other than Alec Murdaugh himself. Right before going to court over the boating accident, Alec Murdaugh's wife, Maggie, and son, Paul, were brutally executed at the dog kennels at their home in Low Country, South Carolina, the property known as Moselle. Shortly after the murder of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul, he had a foiled suicide plot at a local church nearby. Alec had a friend try to shoot him in the head region, which again failed, and he went to the hospital where it was a superficial wound, leaving everybody to believe this was a foiled suicide attempt to garner sympathy from the community. This foiled attempt was captured on camera at the local church. Alec Murdaugh received 2 life sentences for the death and murder of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. After Alec's double homicide conviction of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul, he has since set his eyes on the clerk of Colton County, Becky Hill. Becky Hill is now come under fire for putting her hands on the scales of justice in an effort to get Alec Murdaugh convicted. Alec Murdaugh's defense team state that Becky Hill put her hands on the scales of justice in an effort to get money for a book deal. Alec Murdaugh has a hearing for a motion for new trial coming up on January 29th. This hearing details how Alec Murdaugh believes Becky Hill, the clerk of Colton County, put her hands on the scales of justice in an effort to get a guilty verdict from the jury. The judge in the matter stated that she will be willing to hear from the jurors and Becky Hill only at the most recent status conference hearing. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories channel as we prepare to go to this hearing to find out whether Alec Murdaugh does indeed get a new trial.
First at 5, it has been a case with many twists and turns. Convicted killer Alec Murdaugh will be back in a South Carolina courtroom for a hearing, this time in Columbia. His lawyers are bringing forth evidence they say could set him free. WSAV's Joseph Leonard is joining us now to explain what Murdaugh's attorneys want and what is next. Joseph?
It's been more than a year since Alec Murdaugh first walked through the doors of the Colleton County Courthouse, facing a dozen of his peers, pleading his innocence in the murders of his wife and son. And if his lawyers get their way, he'll be doing that again, but this time with a new set of jurors. Alec Murdaugh wants a new murder trial in March.
And before we go on to that, I wanted to say good morning, Connie. Good morning. It's me, Jen. It's nice to have you guys here this morning. And I would like to, I almost want to expand on this, but we can't because we got a lot of Summer Wells stuff that we have to do in a short amount of time. But I really want to, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. What do we feel? Do we feel he's going to be entitled to a new trial? We're going to poll that tomorrow. So if you guys would like to be part of that poll, please be here tomorrow morning. Again, that's kind of iffy. I'm going to try to go ahead and start our live here at 6 or 6:30 in the morning, just so we can get some morning live out. And then I'll do the 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it'll be a small, short live. I'll make the decision now. It's going to be around 6 or 6:30 that we'll go live tomorrow. And that hopefully will solve all the problems. But we will be going over Alec Murdaugh as we approach his hearing.
Of 2023, a jury found him guilty of murdering his wife Maggie and son Paul. But his lawyers say during that 6-week trial, their clerk of court, Becky Hill, tainted jurors and guided them to that decision, claiming affidavits from 3 jurors prove it.
And all 3 statements are consistent, and in that they heard Ms. Hill, the clerk of court, prior to deliberations, and frankly, before the defense put on their case, Ms. Hill instructed, do not be fooled by the defense. That's what the sworn statements say.
Judge Jean Toll now presides over the case. She took over after Judge Clifton Newman was forced to retire at the end of 2023. And she set the bar high for his lawyers, who will have to put together a convincing argument to get a new trial. She wants to know exactly what Hill told jurors and how, if at all, it impacted their verdict.
Remember, they heard over 70 witnesses testify and received 400 pieces of evidence, and they rendered their decision. And I think what you're going to hear is they were not impacted by anything that they may have heard or anything that Miss Becky may have allegedly said.
But those jury affidavits carry some serious allegations against Hill, possibly going as far as to fabricate a Facebook post to help remove a juror who may have believed Murdaugh innocent.
So, and this has been kind of the crux of this, is that the issue here is the Murdaugh defense team is only proffered affidavits from people that didn't deliberate in the trial. They're trying to say that she inappropriately removed a juror, but I don't know if the judge is going to even entertain that argument, and here's why. The judge specifically said that she is only willing to talk to the deliberating jury body. That means the 12 jurors that actually convicted Alec Murdaugh in his double homicide conviction. She's only wanting to speak to the deliberation jury. So there was, and why am I saying deliberation juries? Because for people that don't know, as this was an extended trial, it was going to last for multiple weeks. And when a trial is expected to last a significant amount of time, they have to do alternate jurors. So they have to select additional jurors to sit on that body, even though they're not deliberating jury. And they do this because, for example, if you have somebody that, say, is sick, or their boss says, hey, if you don't get back to work, you're fired. I don't care if you're on this jury or not. If you don't get back to work, you're losing your job. They can do that. Florida is a right to work state. You don't have to have a reason to be let go in the state of Florida. So I don't know if that's the case in South Carolina, but just for this example, it would be a situation where somebody has to miss a day. They cannot stop the trial to allow that jury to miss a day. They've got to now remove that juror from the jury deliberation, the 12 jurors, and bring one of those alternatives in. So this whole thing with the egg lady and this fabrication of the Facebook post as alleged in the motion for new trial, it doesn't appear that the judge is going to be asking or speaking to egg lady or finding out the details about that. And here's why I think that she's not going to be doing that, because they're asking for a motion for new trial, saying that the deliberating jury body was tampered with. And because they were tampered with, and because of these statements that the clerk allegedly made, it caused that deliberating body on the jury to come back with a guilty verdict instead of the normal process of them deliberating and working through the process, and say one's, holding out. The rest of the jury body is supposed to sway that other juror to either, change their vote or deadlock the jury. So those are really the options you have back there. Did she do it? I haven't heard any deliberating jury members say they heard this stuff come out of her mouth. So far, we haven't heard. There's been a SLED investigation. We don't know the findings of what was uncovered during SLED, but we do know that there was a wiretapping charge for Becky Hill's son. But again, that's related to the ethics and the book. That has nothing to do with whether she swayed the jury. That's a completely separate issue that has to stand on its own independent merits. And you can't, just because it looks bad, if you can't attach it, there's no attachment that exists. That means that's an independent issue that does not affect this motion for new trial. And it sounds like the judge agrees with that position, because she is not going to hear from anyone except the 12 members of that jury, the deliberating jury, the one that guilty verdict for Alec Murdaugh. She only wants to hear from those 12 and Becky Hill. And if that's the case, they're not going to be bringing in all these other damaging allegations against Becky. The judge won't allow it. She won't allow it. And she's the one that's going to be doing the questioning. I'm sorry. I believe a woman that has been a chief Supreme Court judge, that's the kind of gal I'd like questioning these folks, as opposed to the attorneys. I'm sorry. The attorneys start asking questions, things get complicated. I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to cross potentially. We'll see how it all goes and how it all works. We're going to be there in person. We're going to be live from the front lawn of that courthouse. You guys are going to want to be there bright and early. The courts are probably not going to open until at least 8. We're going to be there probably before the lights turn on. Before the sun even comes out, we're going to be there. So if you want up-to-date information and the most absolute who's there, who's coming, who's going, you're going to want to be here on the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories channel. We will be live the entire motion for new trial hearing, the 3 days. We will be there. And just thank you to the people that donated and supported that cause. All right, guys. So we're going to kind of segue over again. I'm kind of crunched on time today. I wish I wasn't, but I am. And so we're going to go ahead and get on over to Summer Wells. Let me just get here. Hold on a second. This is the one that happened. I want to tell you when this interview came out. This interview came out June 18th, a mere 3 days after Summer Wells disappeared. Okay. This is their child, they woke up, or they went to work, day was normal, they come home by evening, their daughter is missing, and the whole place in Rogersville kind of erupts. They have a lot of law enforcement, they got the CART team, they've got a lot of people coming in from local, state, and federal agencies to come help with the Summer Wells case, okay? This is all happening around 6:30, 7:30. Right around that time is when the whole cavalry kind of swarms the Beach Creek area in Hawkins County. I want you guys, because there's still a lot of people peddling a lot of misinformation related to the case with Summer Wells. They just are. I don't know why they're doing that, but they're doing that. And we need to go back to the beginning. We need to bring people that may have forgotten about details or may not even have been around in the true crime genre when we were discussing Summer Wells. People need to understand behavior, human behavior. What would your behavior be? We've got 154 people in chat right now. What would your personal behavior be if your child was missing? And you are now being interviewed by local media for information related to the disappearance of your daughter. What is the behavior you would have? And what language would you be using? Let's see and find out how Don explained all this.
So when her mother come in, she says, "Where's Summer?" She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since.
This morning, Donald Wells spoke on camera for the first time since his daughter disappeared.
Please, let Summer be okay, and please come home.
He says it's unlikely Summer would leave the house on her own. Wells says the last time anyone in the family saw Summer was when she entered the house to play in the basement after gardening with her mother and grandmother. Wells also spoke about his gut feeling about Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
Wells says law enforcement have covered leads on area sex offenders and drug addicts.
We're trying to think, beat our brains out. We've covered everything that we can think of already.
Investigators say they have followed up on 85 tips so far. Wells says he is overwhelmed by the massive numbers of personnel on site.
We just really appreciate everybody trying to help that they have, law enforcement and all these volunteers that are here. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
It was John. Never seen anything like that in his entire life. I truly believe they didn't think that this was going to be as big as it was. I don't think that they anticipated all of this when all of this happened. But I can tell you, no emotion. 3 days after his daughter has been allegedly taken, according to Don Wells, and he's talking about a bad person must have taken her with a straight face. His son won't even make eye contact with anybody around. I don't believe me. Let's watch it again. Let's listen. Let's listen and see what we think now. Let's see what we think now. I want you to pay attention. Look at the little boy's face. Pay attention to these things. Let's look at it again. Let's see if his behavior matches the gravity of the situation.
So when her mother come in, she says, "Where's Summer?" She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since.
This morning, Donald.
And again, went out the basement door. It was unlocked. We all know that basement door stays locked. Why does it stay locked? It stays locked because the parents upstairs are usually intoxicated. And they don't want their kids going downstairs and running out the door when they think they're sleeping. I guarantee that's the reason why they had a couch in front of the door. Where did the couch go? We've been asking that for a very long time in and around this situation. Nobody's been able to tell us where that couch went, but there was a couch there in front of that very door at some point. And I'd like an explanation on where it went. It might be a reasonable explanation. It might have disappeared a month before she disappeared. But nobody's ever explained it. Or if they have, I haven't heard it. Maybe you guys maybe he's explained it on somebody else's channel. And if he has, somebody throw that his explanation in the chat if you heard it from Don Wells himself.
Wells spoke on camera for the first time since his daughter disappeared.
Please, let Summer be okay, and please come home.
He says it's unlikely Summer would leave the house on her own. Wells says the last time anyone in the family saw Summer was when she entered the house to play in the basement after gardening with her mother and grandmother. Wells also spoke about his gut.
And just to remind you guys, for those that are here, the gardening was not planting flowers. It was planting cactuses, allegedly. She keeps calling them flowers because it's easier to try to, when people hear flowers, they think, okay, yeah, a little 5-year-old girl would be helping her mom plant flowers. But when you realize those flowers weren't really flowers, they're actually cactuses, it kind of gives you a new meaning. What parent would allow their 5-year-old child to plant cactuses. They would have them hand them the little thing, the cactus, still in the plastic thing, but actually taking it out and placing it. I don't know of any parent that's going to allow their 5-year-old child to mess around with cactuses. I remember cactuses, and I remember my mom spending hours to try to get all the cactus needles out of me. No parent wants to do that. And I think I was much older than 5 when that happened. I don't know.
Feeling about Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
Wells says
some bad person grabbed her. Is this the face that let's look at this? Is this the face? Let me just see if I can do this. Hold on. Let's see if we can get this a little bit bigger. Let's look at Don Wells' face.
Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
Wells says law enforcement have.
So now that you see his face, what do you think about that? No emotion, no tears, no shaky voice. Just, she was taken. She was taken. Oh, good Lord. Grow up.
Covered leads on area sex offenders and drug addicts.
We're trying to think, beat our brains out. We've covered everything that we can think of already.
Investigators say they have followed up on 85 tips so far. Wells says he is overwhelmed by the massive numbers of personnel on site.
We just really appreciate everybody trying to help that they have, law enforcement and all these volunteers that are here. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
That was John Janko reporting those sentiments shared by Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, who said he has never seen a show of public support like this in his 4 decades of law enforcement.
Well, that's because you have a corrupt county. You have a corrupt county. I think this is the one where you see the horse. I think this is the one where the horse got away. But here's one of the press conferences.
In speaking with dive teams, what are you guys actually doing with them? Is that searching ponds, creeks, lakes? Could you just elaborate a little bit more on what that search has looked like? You talked about ground aerial.
Yes. So our specialized teams, as I spoke on, the USAR, the dive teams, as both Sheriff Ray Lawson and Leslie spoke, we are pursuing every avenue. We're covering every ground cover. We're covering every aspect. At the end of it, if we don't cover it, we have to cover everything 100%. We're utilizing them just to clear waterways, areas that we can't put our normal people into, the canines, stuff that aerial cannot see that well. We want to get in there, flip every rock, check every crevice, check every spot, just to make sure we don't miss a spot.
Are there a lot of streams back in this area or ponds?
Yes.
Can you give us, I know we can kind of see some of the lush vegetation and what's happening in the sky, but what's it like back there for you all?
Yes, there are numerous streams and creeks that run back out of the mountains on both sides of Beach Creek Road, along with Beach Creek itself. And there are lots of ponds, holding spots for livestock and other things that we feel are just as important as the rest of the search efforts.
Sheriff, I have a question for you as far as the investigation goes. I know you probably can't comment on a whole lot, but are you able to say if you've executed any search warrants during this time?
Actually, we've done a tremendous amount of searches, and every one has been a consent search. The community has really stood out. They want to help. They want to give advice. They want to give information. And we've not had to obtain not one search warrant. And it due part that everybody in the community is wanting to find Summer.
We still do.
If you have information about Summer, if you saw Summer the day she went missing, anything like that, if you captured a photo on a trail camera or surveillance camera, that's a credible tip. Anything that would assist us. Something you see on social media that you know is somebody's opinion or just speculation, that's not a credible tip. And in fact, that just bogs along.
We want to get in there.
Sorry.
Check every.
I just hit that just wrong. Okay, so I wanted to pause it because that was an important statement that she made, and this is a statement that we speak on quite a bit here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Is the types of tips to call in, because when you call in opinions, the bottom line is when there's an active and open investigation, you got to look at the defense side of this. Okay. Whenever this child or this person, whoever did this to the child, goes to court, all these calls and tips have to be investigated because the defense will eat that up. So if people are calling in phony or speculative or opinion based leads, they have to now stop what they're doing and investigate that lead that didn't have any scintilla of firsthand knowledge or evidence credible to the case. So you just, even though you were trying to help, you have just caused the law enforcement to do additional work that they didn't need to do because of a lead from somebody that knew that lead was not credible, not firsthand knowledge, and no way to direct law enforcement to where they can find the direct hand knowledge or information. So just, I know everybody wants to help. And of course, if you ever feel that you have to call, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure in our world. But just be cognizant that your call may cause additional work for law enforcement in an already over exerted process. You know, when these things go in, these law enforcements are there sometimes 36 hours straight with no sleep. They are working around the clock trying to find answers. There's a 5-year-old child missing. Many of these law enforcement agents are parents. They're going in with 150% or more. So.
Question I'm kind of looking to ask you, but is there a point in this search when you all will come to the conclusion that this is not a lost child anymore? This is possibly an abduction. Is there an amount of time or amount of territory?
We're talking about
At this time, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance are very much under investigation. So currently, it's an active and ongoing investigation. We're not going to stop until we determine what happened to her, and we're just taking it one day at a time.
What has the interaction been like with the child's parents? I know that they've spoken with us on and off the record about interactions with law enforcement, especially polygraph tests and so forth. Can you speak to us a little bit about the interaction with the parents and how they've helped?
Interaction with the parents.
All I can say in that aspect is that they're currently cooperating.
Now, good Lord, I keep hitting the wrong damn button on this. It's driving me nuts. Okay.
We're still trying to find Summer. It's now been.
Okay. Sorry about that. We'll go back. I hit a button and it took me to a different video altogether. Either way, what I'm trying to say is that they have been looking for Summer Wells for a significant amount of time. They, at this point, are saying that the parents are cooperating, but she left it so. All I can say is at this point they're cooperating. It was very hesitant because we've seen like J.D. Huff, we've seen other law enforcement that have come out with the parents in tow, standing next to them, giving a press conference, begging for whoever took their child to please come forward. Talking about and constantly bringing Summer's name up, constantly making Summer a human being, humanizing Summer for the public, humanizing Summer for the person that may have taken her, all of this stuff. So I have a problem with the way she said they were cooperating. She didn't really give you that warm, fuzzy feeling like they were over cooperating or trying to give as much information as possible. And this right here was on June 18th. This was only 3 days. This is the same day that Don Wells gave that interview that we just saw. And this is law enforcement's conversation saying, yeah, well, all I can say at this point is they're cooperating. It just didn't seem like that really solid cooperation that you would, accustom or equate to law enforcement speaking positively about the parents.
Is there
amount of time or amount of
So let's talk about the abduction.
At this time, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance are very much under investigation. So currently, it's an active and ongoing investigation. We're not going to stop until we determine what happened to her, and we're just taking it one day at a time.
What has the interaction been like?
So here's where she talks about the parents again. Let's listen to this.
About interactions with law enforcement, especially polygraph tests and so forth.
It's not a, I don't feel warm and fuzzy with her response.
All I can say in that aspect is that they're currently cooperating.
That's not warm fuzzy feeling.
I cannot. I can just tell you that any information we have, any lead that comes in, we're going to follow up on that, and all avenues are being explored.
See, notice how she elaborates on that, but she didn't elaborate on Don Wells and Candace Bly's cooperation. It didn't give me a warm fuzzy feeling when she said it then. It doesn't give me a warm fuzzy feeling 3 years after, almost 3 years after this occurred. There's something more here. Law enforcement has been pretty. They haven't done anything that I expect law enforcement to do to show that the parents aren't responsible. For example, we don't have these law enforcement people standing next to the Wells. They've never stood next to the Wells for any press conference. Not a one. Not a one. That's the first indicator right there something's wrong, because law enforcement won't even stand next to the parents, even 3 years after the disappearance of Summer Wells. Never, ever. On March 1st, I think it was 2022, March 1st, 2022, Ronnie Lawson comes before the public and says, we haven't been talking to them. They lawyered up. They lawyered up within 9 months after their daughter disappeared. Now, mind you, this is after they failed to coordinate any search parties. In 9 months, they failed to do any type of flyer posting in and around the Rogersville area. Had it not been for our team that came in, there were flyers posted. They were done by community members. But until our team came in, they were not posted in the windows in downtown Rogersville. They were posted in county offices. A lot of people had stuff up to memorialize Summer Wells, but the actual flyers were lacking on the strip, downtown Rogersville. So we went out there with tape and flyers and posted them up, making sure everybody knew that this little girl was missing. If you have any information, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND or the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. But I have to tell you, it was really sweet to see literally all government offices had a flyer of baby Summer Wells, even in Sullivan County. It wasn't even in Hawkins County. Even Sullivan County was in their county buildings had a photo of Summer Wells. So again, law enforcement not giving us a fuzzy feeling, and that is 3 days. 3 days after Summer Wells went missing, we started seeing this change in law enforcement related to the Wells. You've seen it. It was like, at one point this child's missing. We need to take care. Within 24 hours, 48 hours, their tune changed. Because if this child had walked off or got hurt, they would have found her. They found a little boy in Tennessee around the time that Summer, I think it was like a month. Remember that? A month or two. He was walking his dog. And it was a few counties over. Maybe it was several counties over. But either way, he went out with his dog to walk his dog. And apparently this little 8-year-old boy, he was 8-year-old, a little older than Summer, got lost out in the wilderness. And when he got lost out in the wilderness, he ended up, I like that. He ended up being found 48 hours later. He slept in the wilderness in 36-degree weather. 36-degree weather all night long. But they found him. He was dehydrated, but he was okay. And it took them a little while, again, 36 hours, but they found him. At the point that they're having these conversations with everybody, we're already past the 48 hours. And when we're past the 48 hours, you see this change in law enforcement, a very specific change in their behavior and how they are now speaking about the case. And it all started with this, in my opinion, this interview here is when you started seeing those changes in law enforcement and what they believe.
Feeling right now, again, back to Captain Coop and Sheriff Lawson, how are they handling this right now, especially with we've kind of seen an increase in temperature outside?
So, as stated before, the outpouring of community and businesses in this area, they are very limited on the time. Once they get certain areas of covered, they are being required to come back to the command post and staging area to rehab. Plenty of water, Powerade, Gatorade, food, protein bars, stuff to keep them hydrated and nourished during this whole entire time. And as one stated before I left, they are also 100% involved. They said, we will not stop.
God, burn it. I always hit the wrong freaking button. It's really starting to get under my skin when I do that. Okay, we're right here. Also, this is another thing I'm curious about. You know, when we go out just about every place that we go, you know, I, by myself or collaborating with other creators, one thing that is always noticeable is kind of wherever we go, we have like someone, for example, in Quentin Simon, Miss Diane, the babysitter down the road. We were out there, and one day she decided to make some hot chocolate, a pitcher of hot chocolate. Oh my God, that hot chocolate was so dang good. A pitcher of hot chocolate and hot turkey sandwiches. And you're thinking hot turkey sandwiches, sliced turkey. No. We're talking about her roasting the turkey in the oven and cutting the turkey up and getting us hot meat sandwiches. It was delicious. I keep wondering, with all of this going on here, and then we had a fairly small group. We didn't have hundreds of people. Hold on, I guess I need to go. Excuse me. And I wonder what he did. What did Candace and Dawn do for these people? Did they go out and bring them water? Did they make them, you know, something to eat? Did they provide these searchers or anybody helping them anything? I mean, we weren't helping really anybody out in front of Quentin Simon, right? We were seeking justice and trying to get Leilani in jail. This is people out there literally searching. I mean, we went and did some searches, but not to the level of this. And I doubt that the Wells even handed one of these searchers a water. A water. Don, did you even offer any of these people even a bottled water? Just curious. Just curious. I would venture to say probably not.
As far as the law enforcement aspect, well, you know, we have the TBI system in my office and the FBI, and it's a partnership and a joint operation where if somebody comes in with a tip, just whichever agent standing there, whichever officer, whether it's mine, one of the TBI or FBI agents, they jump on it. It doesn't matter who solves the case, whatever. We just want to find Summer. That's first and foremost.
One more question.
I actually have one last question regarding something that my father told us yesterday. He was saying that she would never leave their sort of hills where they live, and he highly believes that this is an abduction. Is there anything that you can say that maybe could point to that? He mentioned something about the canines going along a trail that runs dead. So is there anything that you guys have seen that's...
Hey guys, do me a favor. We have 176 people in the chat right now. If you haven't gone out and given this channel a thumbs up, if you would please please consider doing that and getting those likes up. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really does help this channel out. A lot of people want to know how they can help. Well, that's how you can help today. Go out there and click that thumbs up button for Bullhorn Betty and our beautiful mods that make this a wonderful time in the chat. Because you know the chat, Bullhorn Betty has nothing to do with that. So if you're enjoying your conversation, that is all the moderators. So tell them thank you. They work very hard.
Is there any sign that that may be true?
We're exploring all avenues. So at this time, we can't confirm that. However, in the event that we do develop that information and confirm it was an abduction and have information to share, you will be the first to know. And we want to reassure the community.
I want to make sure everybody understands the gravity of the situation. Did you just hear her? 3 days. 3 days after Summer Wells went missing, law enforcement were adamant 3 days after she went missing that this was not an abduction. And we will be the first to know if that changes. Now, mind you, this is with Search and Rescue, this is with Ronnie Lawson, and this is with TBI. And 3 days after Summer Wells disappeared, they told us there is no evidence of an abduction, but they will be sure that we know immediately when that changes. Guess what? We're here almost 3 years later, and that statement has never changed. Law enforcement has been adamant from out the gate. There was no evidence to support an abduction theory in this matter. I don't know what people are still acting like this is a potential abduction. I don't know when we're going to stop listening to these animals on social media that think they're smarter than local, state, and federal agents. I'd like to see when people are going to stop listening to the noise and listening to the facts. 3 solid years. If we really want to be exact, over 2.5 solid years. 2.5 solid years. Law enforcement has proclaimed publicly, not even trying to push us out. They have proclaimed publicly that this child has not been abducted. There is no evidence then. There's no evidence now. So when are we going to move past the potential abduction? Law enforcement does not believe it. Now, we know we got Ricky Beavers in here. And we heard from him yesterday. And he has a theory. Him and I have, over the years have discussed this theory. And his theory hasn't changed. He's been pretty set on believing that she's alive and, something happened to her either to save her or for nefarious reasons. But if we were to apply Ricky Beavers' statement, does she need to be abducted to match Ricky's theory? In all fairness, she doesn't. Because Ricky's theory is more along, it's more along on the HT, ST, realm. I'm not down that trail because law enforcement is saying that this doesn't exist. The abduction portion aspect of it doesn't exist. So if we were to apply this HT type of scenario, it would still come back to either Candace, Dawn, or Grandis would have had to been the negotiator of that. It still comes back to the same people on that mountain. Prayers work. It's powerful. God moves mountains. We see it every day. We see it every day, Ricky. So even if we were to apply my theory or Ricky's theory, I don't think either one of those theories have anything to do with an abduction. And either way you look at it, it still kind of comes back to the adults on that mountain. If they were the only adults in and around Summer Wells at the time she disappeared, where's the plan B? The plan B was Dudley. The plan B was Fred Hill. The plan B was the mortician. The plan B was whatever his name is that does the website, the weird guy. The plan B was Miss Robin, right? But none of those plan Bs ever panned out. Even if we didn't believe 100% of everything they said, and we only believed maybe a small sliver, even if we didn't believe anything, it didn't equate to being anything of substance. Plan E was Betty. So who's left? Who's left? There's nobody left. We went through everybody. In 3 years, the tree people have been cleared. These other people have been cleared. The only people that were around Summer and actually, if you really want to bring it back, I mean, the only other person that was really around Summer that day is Hunter. Allie didn't even see her when Candace dropped Hunter off at their house. She wouldn't let her see Summer. Wouldn't even let her go over there and say hi to her. Look at through her in the window. The windows were all up. Weird, huh? Weird behavior. Always about this weird behavior. And then finally, we only have a few moments, so I am only going to show you guys just a few minutes of this. This is Chris McDonough. This has been shared a lot. It's one of the most notable videos he did. It was really telling, and it really got a lot of people sick to their stomach. For those that have never seen the inside or the conditions, the living conditions that Summer Wells and her brothers were subjected to, this is going to wake up everybody, in my opinion. This house was breathtaking. I have to be honest with you. As always, this is being used under fair use. I never have a problem with Chris McDonough, but just for legal purposes. Right here. There's the dog trail. Right there. Just to let you know. Grandis's trailer, dog trail. Okay? Just to let you know. And so for all those people that want to still say that the dog trail was how the abductor got Summer Wells, well, explain to me how they got past Grandis. I'd like to know. All right, let's just kind of move through this. Here we go. We're getting close to it.
She was sleeping, yes.
Okay. Okay. And you told, there's the road down there.
Yeah, that's the road. And that's my mom's house.
Okay.
Like literally, it's.
And this right here.
Look how far that drops.
Usually you can see the road because
if they're on a mountain
went through here and mowed
Okay.
and took down a bunch of stuff away from the power lines.
Okay.
But usually it's full up. You can't even see the road.
That day though, how was it? Was it full up or was it like this?
That day and a few days prior to that, they were working on this.
Okay.
So I've even come to a conclusion maybe one of them people have snatched it.
Oh, interesting.
Because they were all the way up here.
Yeah, I see those the path down there. I see the tracks down there.
Yep.
You over there.
And they were all the way up here to my light pole.
Okay. And you told TBI all this, right?
I told TBI this, yes.
Okay.
That company was cleared.
Yeah, I can see the cars going by. That is not far from your property.
Mm-mm.
Is there a holler down there? I mean, is there a river of some sort?
The creek runs all the way around the property.
And how deep is a creek? Okay, just so it's like an inch, inch or two.
Yeah, the creek is not deep at
to get-
all, but the culvert
Quite
that
enough
it
to do
oh
anything.
sorry, the culvert that it resides in is about a 2-foot drop. That's what, but the creek itself, like I said, it's not it doesn't come up to your knees. I mean, it's just a few inches of water around the property, but the creek is in, it drops down, but it's not deep.
Anything.
Okay. All right. So let's pick it up from where, and I'm going to just use this little one. Is that okay?
Fine.
Okay. So from where, when you got home, now she's leaning.
My mom's truck parks here.
Okay. Your mom's truck's right here.
Yes.
Okay. So she's leaning against the milk. Is she sleeping?
She was sleeping, yes.
Okay.
So they're talking about the milk photo. You guys know which milk photo they're referring to here, right? It's the one where she was on the milk. She's kind of slouched over. She's got like drool or some type of liquid on her jacket. This was the last outfit that she was put into after she left the water hole by the horse stables over in Warrior's Path. She was changed into this jumper suit, and they said they went to the store to get some cheese and milk, and they were on their way back, and she apparently she had her hands up, and this is the explanation that was provided by Candace, is that she had her hands up and she looked like her father, and they were trying to quickly get the photo. And when they got the photo, her arms fell down at that moment. And it just makes me wonder, because, when kids have a hard time breathing, parents always put there's just something, that just doesn't make sense this day. And again, it could be several things.
From exhaustion from that day?
Yeah, she was, where I woke her up early, and she usually sleeps until 9, 10, even 12 o'clock if I let her.
Okay. How did the milk bottles get rearranged? Hunter said he had them on the floor, and then he put them next to him.
They weren't.
Is that true?
No.
All right, I'm trying to find the spot that I need.
When we dropped them off, they were actually still on his lap.
Okay.
And he put them on the other side of Summer.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get
So he reached over?
Yeah, he said
get to the inside of the house, because I've got just a few more minutes. Here's the house, guys.
And is this they're going to attack me?
No.
For all the people that have not had an opportunity, I'm sure at this point you guys have probably all seen the inside of this house, but just to remind people of the condition that everybody was living in, and I mean 4 impressionable young kids. Okay, this is not, in my opinion, a home that is good for children in its condition when they walk in. I don't even want to know what kind of breathing problems they have, to be honest with you.
Oh, I was just I'm teasing you. The dog's going to attack me. So this is
Give me just a second. I'm having some minor audio issues. Hold on a second. I don't know what's going on here. Let's see here. Hopefully this fixes it. We'll see if it fixes it. It probably won't, but we'll go ahead anyways.
is the scaffolding you're talking about.
Yeah, that's my. Yep.
Okay, so she comes up, jumps up, goes right in.
Yep.
Okay, how many cats? You know what? You should have like a zoo license.
That's
I'm seeing all kinds of critters, which is good. Okay, where's Summer's bed?
Oh, it's in the basement.
Got it. Okay. So what happens when she comes in? The boys are playing where?
No, the boys are actually sitting here.
Okay.
And they're actually sitting right here at the table watching TV.
Okay, so they're at the table watching TV. Okay.
They were all locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out. Kind
Okay.
of thing.
Now who's this on up here?
That's my little sister that's missing.
Oh, that's Rose.
That's Rosie.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Wow. And who's the guy?
That's her ex-husband.
Wow. Do you think he had anything to do with that?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to go there.
Can't say.
How's
yes
your
or
mom
no.
deal with that?
It's difficult.
Yeah. I know. You know I know, right? So, okay, watching TV. Where's Summer?
Summer, she was with me.
Okay, so walk me through that.
All right. Well, we walked up in here and we got Josie, Wyatt, and Waylon, the boys.
Right. You put the groceries down, right?
Yeah. Well, we went back out and then we brought the groceries in and put them down. And then Mom, she went and took her stuff to her house, put her stuff away.
Okay.
And then, of course, me and Summer went back over, put our stuff away.
Okay, let's get going in.
Not that.
You walked into the house.
Well, I walked into here. Get up. I walked in here and them three were sitting right here in front with their eyes glued to the TV, like always. And I said, boys, where's your sister at? Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play. So I went over here like this, because this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
The one thing I've noticed,
down under there.
We're about to go down to the dungeon. One thing I noticed is she does not even know that her living like this is frowned upon by normal society. She doesn't understand that she's living in filth. That's the problem I had. This is the repetitive cycle that never ends, right? She doesn't even realize how she is living. Normal people don't live like that.
Oh, down into her
Down into
bedroom.
Our bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay.
A
In the
cubby.
basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
This is how they have
Well,
to go
this
to bed.
makes sense now. See?
And then I yelled and I said, Summer, Summer. And she didn't. I listened for a minute. I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this, because this is how I always get down here.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if you want to come down here or not.
Do I got to be tiny to get in there?
No, you should.
Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can, but it make more sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you.
Chris, you want to go down to the dungeon?
I know if my 6-foot husband can fit down here, you can.
Huh?
My husband's 6 foot. I know if he can fit, you can.
This.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Look at the struggle Chris had
This
to go
is
through.
mine.
And those were
Okay.
power cords. I want to show you guys something. This right here, when you see that little dangling thing, so no, hold on. I think it's right here. Watch, you see actual electrical wires, live electrical wires. They have to walk past. Watch.
Oh, man. Good grief,
No, I know
girl.
if my
Gonna be right
6-foot
here.
husband can fit down here, you can.
Huh?
Good grief,
My
he says.
husband's 6 foot. I know if he can fit, you can.
This.
Right here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at all those cords. Those
Way
those
to go.
live
This is
wires.
My husband's room.
Okay.
And over here, well.
They had
I'm not
porno
gonna-
on
That's all right.
the video.
But this is
Okay,
what
if you
someone-
guys didn't realize, you couldn't see anything because it wasn't at that. But Chris says, because I didn't know, it looked like it was just a cartoon. But Chris said whenever he was done with this interview that what was actually on that was pornographic material. That there was somebody watching. That's why he turned the camera. He realized what it was. There was no nudity or anything at the time he went through. But either way, who is down in the basement with a bunch of kids watching pornographic material? It seems a little EBGB to me. But hey, you know what? I mean, I guess a lot of people out here on YouTube with no college education, no investigative skills, they know a lot more than, say, Chris McDonough does.
Little Waylon was, because Waylon's only 9.
Okay.
And they
So
stay down
all of
here.
them sleep in one
And
room.
these are all her toys, all her Paw Patrols, all
All her movies. She's got a movie about the
The
Savior.
boys that
No
brought back
toys.
down here after she went missing.
Do you see how proud Candace is showing all her toys? There's no stinking toys in this room. Nothing that I would equate to a toy.
Because I didn't want them upstairs by themselves.
Okay. And this is all her toys.
Them are all her toys. All these toys that are down here are dang near all hers, except for like the trucks and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the game system. That's the boys'.
Okay.
But them are all her toys.
And she's really into Paw Patrol. I see
Yeah,
that.
I've been collecting from day one. And these are all her little ponies that we've
Tinfoil on the windows.
And then these are them girls that she likes.
I got to be honest with you. Every time I see tinfoil on the windows, the first thing I think of is drug house. Every drug house I've ever known has tinfoil on the windows.
Them new fashion, I don't know what they are, little princesses or whatever.
These are the
She's
toys
like all
she calls
kinds-
toys
here's
right
one of them
here.
bracelets.
That's what she
Oh,
calls
that's just
toys.
one of them what do they call these? Oh, this is a little pony bracelets.
Yeah, I don't know what they were really called, but she liked them, and so I just every time I go to the garage sale, I'd buy her what she wanted.
Okay.
You know, whenever I got a little bit of money, I spend it on the kids.
Yeah, this is her. This is I understand her now.
I bet you do. I definitely understand her a little bit more as well. There is no doubt in my mind that after seeing this video, we kind of get a greater understanding of how Summer was living, and more importantly, how she was being treated. There was no toys down there. There was no toy. Who calls that crap toys? That's the shit that these kids had to play with. There were no toys. These parents didn't do nothing. They were so busy spending money on their substances and alcohol and only feeding the family dollar pizza so they can continue their disgusting lifestyle of anesthetization of themselves at the expense of their children. And their children gets crapped. Crapped on? Crap for freaking... The boys are sitting at that table watching TV. Where were they sitting? That place was just, you know, I this is the problem I have. Like, I've met people, older people that have homes like that, right? You know, and you understand it because they can't move around. Their mobility is limited. Their mobility is limited. It's not that they want to live in that. It's just they don't really have the ability to constantly be cleaning like they did when they were younger and more vibrant. So you have older people that have mobility issues that have to live like that, not by choice, because they're just they can't do it. They have no ability to do it, or they can only do it in small increments. But this is a young family with children and well-bodied individuals. There is no excuse. There are 3 adults living at this house with 4 kids. Totally manageable. Totally manageable. And I just can't for the life of me understand how this was okay to allow young children to be living in. How they didn't think that this was wrong. How having no doors and walls on their bathroom where there's a little girl not too far away from men using the restroom, strange men using the restroom in that house with no door or walls. This was an unsavory place for young children to be. This is not Bullhorn Betty making this up. Obviously, the state of Tennessee agrees with me and a lot of other people like me that are on this platform and other social media platforms trying to get the truth out to the people. Literally from day 3, law enforcement did not believe SWAT, the Wells, were saying. And now we're fast forwarding to 2.5 years later. Guess what? Nothing, and I mean nothing, has changed. Nothing. All right, guys, we'll pick this back up hopefully later this afternoon. I got some work around here to do. I've got a friend coming in to help. We're working on the backyard. I got to be honest with you. The backyard is looking amazing. I can't wait to come back here. I mean, once they're done with their stuff, I still have to do some other beautification back there, you know, whatnot. But I really want to start having some lives outside, you know, with a nice cup of coffee, getting some fresh air with some fresh sunlight, and literally setting up my system out there so we can do that. I just think, you know, like maybe once every 2 weeks or something, where it takes me, you know, because it does take a lot of time to set up all this equipment and stuff. But one thing I won't have to worry about is the lighting, right? We got all natural lighting out there, nice fresh air. I just think it'll be a nice change of scenery, right? So I'm really super excited for that. And that's going to be coming up, you know, when I get back from this trip. I also have I'm starting to twist Mama Bullhorn. I think I'm trying to hire Mama Bullhorn to be my camera crew. Not for this trip. This trip we've already got covered going. And with Ricky Beavers coming into town, this is the only problem I have, Ricky, is I'm looking at the schedule. I'm trying to make it work. Is I'm going to be in South Carolina for Alec Murdaugh, and that's a 3-day trial, and that takes us to the 31st. So I'm going to be and I'm supposed to be meeting Olivia over in Tennessee. We've got to get some shoes. I accidentally brought some shoes that didn't belong to me back, that I need to get back to Aileen. And we also want to update some content and bring some new updates for Layla Santinello's case. And so that was already pre-planned, but I figured if I stayed there a night, I could still be back here by the 2nd or 3rd, so I can meet you down south, which is what I want to do. So I got to play that by ear, and I didn't call you yesterday because after I got off the live, I had the cleaning crew here, and I had I'm doing another side project for somebody else, a video project for somebody else. And so I had to work on those things yesterday. So today I'll have some time to hopefully go live later this afternoon, maybe early evening, just to go over some Alec Murdaugh stuff. We have a lot of content that we need to go over related to Alec Murdaugh as we approach his motion for new trial hearing. We have a package of paper, literally 2 inches thick, that I've got to read and I've got to explain to you guys, so we know what are the true facts that is going to be discussed in front of Judge Toll. And I want to make sure that we have our the facts and our opinions, right? Facts and our opinions. So yeah, but it still doesn't matter either way. If I can't meet you, that's why I gave myself the out, Ricky. If I can't meet you in Miami, I'm coming back to Kentucky because I'm going to be there for Brookhouse. I want to. I know the real me too. I'm trying. Everybody's been reminding me. I'm so appreciative. But yesterday I didn't get a chance to get it done. The day before, even because I let my car sit so long, it didn't start. So Tuesday, when I was going to get up and go to my meeting and then go over to Walmart, I couldn't because I ended up having to sit here and put the car on the the battery trickler to get it the battery enough juice in it to crank. I haven't been on a trip in a little while, okay? My girl, she's like, you need to drive me a little more. You need to drive me a little more. So hopefully we'll get it today. If not today, it's going to have to be tomorrow because I'm leaving tomorrow night, or I'll go to sleep early tomorrow night and get up super, super early, like around 3 or 4, and start getting out the door. I'm going to be meeting Jen in between and I are going to be hanging out for at least 24 hours, right? We're going to be hanging out for a little bit. So I'm really excited. I get to see Jen in between. I also get to meet paralegal Liz. And of course I'm meeting the real Me Too there. Her and I are going to be bunking together while we're in South Carolina. I know, I'm excited too. I'll be getting a hold of you. I got to make a list. I put Ricky on my list yesterday and I left my list in here and started working on something else. So I digress. I do the best I can, guys. I wish I was an octopus. It'd make it a lot easier, right? But I'm not. So I hope you guys have an amazing Thursday. We'll see you guys here extra early tomorrow because of the timing and stuff. And I've got a lot of stuff I've got to do tomorrow in preparation to get out the door on time on the 27th. So I'm not delayed and I get where I need to be on time, right? Because I'm driving a long ways and anything can happen, right? We can have a crash that backs us up for hours. So I always like getting on the road extra early. It just keeps me in good graces. So no phones today, guys. We'll see you back here tomorrow or later this afternoon. Don't forget to sign up. Here's the reminder to contact me. Okay, thank you. I love it. I love it. God bless you guys. Have a great day. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be kind and safe to one another, especially in the comment box below. You never know what kind of day somebody's having. So you can actually be their inspiration. So inspire before you expire. God bless.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.